Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how to replace the fan belt on a Jeep Grand Cherokee. This is the 4-liter inline 6. This Jeep is a 1996. And for those of you who don't know, there are a couple of small differences between 95 and 96, both exterior and interior. Little things with the engine. 96 they switched over so you got an actual engine belt tensioner down in here. In 95, if you've got a 95 or newer, what you use is the power steering pump. It pivots and you can use that to adjust the tension on the engine belt. So one thing you're going to want to do first off, if you are going to replace the belt, is find out if it's this or if you need to use the tensioner down there. I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, one way you can tell is if you look down in here. It's kind of hard to see. Well, actually, if you look in front, here's your power and steering pump. See if I can get the light right. And then right here is one of your pulleys, your idler pulley, which you can also move up and down to adjust the tension of the engine belt by turning that bolt right there. And as you can see how it works, I don't know if you can, turn that bolt and it moves up and down a track. So if you do have that in your Jeep, then you're in luck. So just follow my instructions. It is fairly hard to work on it, hold the light and the camera at the same time, so I'm just going to do it. I'm going to say it, then do it, and it'll be a bunch of different clips. The first thing you want to do, here's your idler pulley down there. You want to break that bolt loose with a 15mm wrench. I don't know if there, you could probably fit a socket wrench in there too, but because of my lack of organization on my tools, that's all I found right now. You don't want to completely loosen it, you don't want to lose your pulley, but you just want to break it loose, maybe turn it another half a turn, just so it's pretty loose. Then you want to start working on that bolt right there. Start loosening it. Now that that's broken loose, it's free to slide along the hole. Now before you get started, what you want to do, stupid light, is check your belt and find out how the tension is, kind of get a feel of how much it moves and how tight it should be. Because when you're tightening it, you want to match that, and actually you want to go a little more than what it was before. Now you should loosen it to the point where you can just slip your belt off right off the power steering pump here. And then you just want to work on getting it off of all the pulleys and see if you can pull the whole belt out. Here's the old one. It's kind of fraying a bit on the sides, and take a look at the underneath. Crack much? Junk. Nope. Once you've got your new belt, you want to check your manual instructions, look online, see if you can find the diagram of how to run the belt through, because you want to make sure that you have it right, because if you're running something backwards, you're going to destroy your car. So what's very convenient with these is the stickers right there. Here's your belt routing right here. So here's your power steering, here's your idler pulley, there's your crankshaft, there's your fan, there's your alternator right there, here's your AC compressor and your idler for that. And if you don't have AC, you don't need it, just go straight. If yours doesn't have a diagram, I would just look online, check your manual, make sure. But it shows you how to run it through, and always double check yourself. That's what I do. Never want to take a risk. Okay, now it's all threaded through. I would recommend starting with the crankshaft, work your way up. I usually go through the fan, go through all this, and do this part last. You want to get around the power steering pump first, and then you should have slack on this side down here, and you want to stretch it over your last pulley right there. And now your belt's on. Now, just double check, make sure everything's done right, and you want to start tightening with that bolt. Once you've got that tightened, last thing you want to do is reach down here, get your wrench over the on the pulley and pull it tight. And right about a position like here is good because you can get a lot of pushing leverage. So you do want it, you don't want it like really, really extremely tight, but you do want it really tight. So you don't want your pulley flying off. That should be good. Once you've got that tightened, you want to check it. You shouldn't be able to move it too much. You want it to be, see if I can get a better angle so you can see. You want to barely be able to do that. You don't want it too tight, you don't want to stress it too much, but at the same time, you don't want it too loose. If you can move it, a lot more than that, if you're moving it like this, it's way too loose, and actually, it's better to have it tighter than it is loose, because if it's loose, when you accelerate, just the force from turning everything, the crankshaft is just going to spin in the belt, and it's going to wear your belt out, and it's going to sound terrible. Your car's going to squeal, and it's just going to sound horrible. Just the loudest, most obnoxious noise you've ever heard. And keep in mind too, when you are replacing these, most people will put a brand new belt on. I don't know who wouldn't, but it is a brand new belt, and they do stretch over time. So, it's not like it's going to stay tight forever. After the first couple hundred miles, you might need to check it again. Not a lot of people do that, but if your car is squeaking when you accelerate, you know what to do. So that's it's really not that hard. I just did it in about 10-15 minutes. So the most time-consuming part is just tightening that if you don't have a ratchet at hand. But I would recommend having mechanical skill to do it, being able to change your own oil, be able to do some other stuff, because a lot of people will take on things like this and they won't know how to do any of it, and then you end up screwing up your car and you're stranded. It's really not that hard. You can save yourself money doing it. The new belts, it was like $60. It's a Mopar belt, got it at the Jeep dealer. The thing there is to do is start it up. Keep in mind too that some of you may experience some squeaking, I have too, but it'll eventually go away. It is a brand new belt. A little bit of squeaking, but not that bad. After a couple minutes, if it's still squeaking, your belt knife might not have been your problem, as the case with mine. If you're changing your belt because your engine's squeaking, and you replace your belt and your engine's still squeaking, and you don't know what's going on, your problem is, what you want to do is take your belt off, start the car, and let it run without the belt, only for like a minute. If it still squeaks, then something's wrong. If it doesn't squeak, you know it's something up here, and it's most likely on these engines, the idler pulley down there underneath the guard steering pump, or the other one. But if it is still squeaking, you're not screwed. Just leave me a comment and I'll tell you more information.